Three Wise Fools podcast is brought to you by the Public Health South Tees BoroManCan Men's Health campaign. However, we feel we should make it clear that the pod, the content and the opinions expressed within are not necessarily representative of Public Health South Tees or its associated local authorities, Middlesbrough or Redcar and Cleveland Borough Councils. We do this in our own time and enjoy the freedom to talk about the issues in our way. So enjoy the pod and visit www.boromancan.co.uk to find out more.
Hello and welcome to the BoroManCan pod.
My dad is on this podcast and swears a lot.
Some of you might find it offensive and some of the language and words may also offend.
My dad isn't bothered, but we have to warn you.
Three wise men, three wise fools.
Laid back.
Previously on Three Wise Fools. So how has everyone's week been?
Matt, how's your week been?
Good.
My fridge freezer broke, my toaster broke,
Why have you got a combo?
my iron broke, everything around me's been breaking.
Oh, ironing.
Yeah.
That's a cheesy cake.
Half a bottle of gin later though, it's a bit of a mess. So I put my topper on and I'm like...
I think if we're going to compare foreheads here, we're all... yeah. We're like...
But apart from that, apart from the wetness,
Yeah.
it's all good.
Bit of dampness. Moisture.
Yeah, going back to our main sponsor.
Actually,
So anyway-
oh, sorry, don't worry about me. No, I've had a great week.
Rich, how are you?
Thanks.
Doris in with a toenail.
Not Doris again.
Doris again with a
How
toenail.
many toenails has she got, man?
Open off, shop. What are you doing about the athlete's foot?
13 toes.
And we've got nothing against Doris at all.
Oh, he's British, too calling again. When they up, they do it in style, I feel. And it always, with the internet, I feel this is the best thing about the internet.
A flapjack.
Yeah.
He was trying to warm me up in the bushes. Just to send out some nice positive vibrations to people who can shut their eyes and have a chill out and have a listen.
And you can, any man can, a BoroMan can. Meh.
Hello and a warm welcome to the Three Wise Fools and another edition of the pod. My name is Idris and keep me company as ever is Matt and Richie. Welcome to this edition. We've got some great things lined up for you. And just a bit of reflection on the pod that we did last week. It was we've had a really positive response. We had Chris McLeod on the pod and we missed a few of the features out that we didn't normally we have normally on the pod, but the interview has gone really well. We've had plenty of positive response on since we released it. So I just want to get some reflection, some thoughts on that from Richie. First of all, Richie, welcome to. How are you doing? How's your week been?
Oh, mate, I tell you, I'm in a good place. I am in a good place. We've had a good week. We've been away to London last week. We've done London Eye with my son, done Modern to Swords, all that kind of stuff when we were down there. Great time. I've carried on with my little garden project, doing my little the patio's done, now doing garden boxes and we started to fill one of them up with soil yesterday. So busy, loving it. Absolutely spot on. How about you, sir?
Yeah, it's been work. Yeah, unfortunately. I think I'm due some time off as well, and I think I need to, we talk about making time and space for yourselves, and sometimes stuff get in the way. Yeah. And I need to have some downtime as well. Good. And I need to plan that.
Well, we discussed that this week, though, didn't we? About doing the pod on a Sunday, recording on a Sunday, and I think we all came to the conclusion that life for the three of us is busy. Mm-hmm. So we've decided to start pre-recording during the week to give us that time, haven't we? I suppose. Yeah,
that's a good idea. Yeah, you need to free our weekends up for ourselves, don't we? I know you're tired. You've been busy as either of us, I think, Idris. I know we're all quite busy, but yeah, it's good. I'm pleased to hear you say that. That you need to sort of take some time for yourself as well. I am. It's only the same thing we ask of anyone, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you have to, though, don't you? You have to. I think once you recognise it, like we always say, once you recognise that you need to chill out and take that time and spend some time with your family or even just by yourself doing whatever we've discussed, like going out on the bike and you need it. And, I mean, that bike ride we did last week, that last minute thing, I actually screamed while I was on my bike. I fucking love being on my bike. Because...
He did.
I did.
He did.
Going through Ingleby Green.
Yeah, I think Idris heard it, actually, didn't you?
But you do, and it's nice to get that time out, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Funny enough, I was chatting to my Charlie's mum's cousin, actually, who works in a garage in Borough, and he said, I haven't seen him in ages. He's doing some work for him in my car, and he took up cycling, and he said, I just love it. He said, it's for me, it's just about. So I used to do it to try and like be sort of competitive or do it as quick. So I just love going out for a ride. Clears the head. He said, I've never had any problems or anything like that. I said, like mental health or anything. He said, but it's just beauty for clearing the head.
I think it is.
And it genuinely is. It's like, like the wind in your face and all that stuff, but it's just clear. You're out in the country.
Well, if I ride to work, I try and do between 15 and 20 miles in the morning before I get to work. Because I only live 3 miles.
How long does that take?
Just over an hour.
Yeah, an hour's ride.
I think you need to get it into a routine. And I told you I bought a bike about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's still in the garage. I haven't took it out yet. So
I'm gonna get
I
him
know
out.
it's one of those where you have the intention of making changes in your life, and
it's being asked is a problem.
What type of bike have you got?
it's like
Like a mountain bike?
yeah, it's like a road bike.
Is it?
Like,
It is a road bike.
Yeah.
So has it got fairly slick tyres on it? Or are they like bobbly tyres and like loads?
No,
Like
it's a road bike.
Right,
It's
that's
quite-
it. We need to get out.
Yeah, we do.
We need to get out then. It's got to just do like half an hour.
Yeah, and because you guys do it like 60 miles at a time, and I'm scared. I thought like if I do like even 5k, I'm gonna be shagged.
Yeah, but if you do
10
mile,
10 mile.
a couple of
Start
times
with 10
a
mile.
week, then build that.
Charlie's done 10 mile with me. Didn't we, Charlie? My
Well,
my
fine.
son's in the studio today.
Yeah, Charlie's in the studio. Welcome to Charlie as well.
Hello, Charles.
I met Charlie.
Charlie, don't dare call him Charles.
We had this sports thing. Do you remember, Richie? When I fell on my face.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
I do indeed.
Yeah, Richie.
I was very kind about that.
What happened, like?
Oh,
Oh,
Just
fucking
to do
hell.
a work.
Well, yeah, it was. Go on, you sorry.
you explained with
So
this.
it was Alcohol Awareness Week. Last we worked with called Fiona,
And you fell over.
and we put
We don't
teams
drink-
together,
we don't
and there
drink
was
it.
one of the teams had me, Idris, and Charlie on it. And anyway, there was things where it was like running up and down the hall, and there was like obstacles in the way and stuff. Obstacles somehow didn't cause any of us any problems. It was getting up from them and then starting to run again. And actually, I slipped and fell forward on my hands, but Idris slipped over and fell straight onto his face.
It was like javelin throwing. Obviously, it was indoor type
Yeah,
stuff
it
and
was
standing.
brutal.
Was this
And-
at the sports village?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I was meant to compete in that with the police.
It was a man down. It was a man down. If we'd been doing
Definitely.
the pod then, it would have been
So
man
it was
down.
right towards the end. There was like a race, wasn't it? Like it was a sprint,
Yes.
and I was bombing it, and I was halfway, and
He
then
was bombing
I think I just tripped over my foot.
Yeah.
And I went flying, like when everything's in everything's in slow motion.
Is
Totally
this why you don't go on your bike?
The thing is, he slid for about 3 meters as well.
He was, yeah. I had friction burns.
Yeah.
Shouting Ayaz.
I think I've got a video of it somewhere,
Oh,
I
don't.
think I have. I genuinely have.
We'll have to share it on
Because
the
I was
pod.
filming it from the end, and so that will maybe bring that in as a man down for the
Oh
the
yeah,
next one. It
If
was
we've got a
class.
video of it.
But it was good fun, wasn't it? And it was
Yeah,
it was good.
it was- it was for a good cause,
It was
and
for a good cause.
Alcohol Awareness Week.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that
Yeah.
hurt my pride.
no,
But like when you do something and you have it in slow motion, and it was definitely slow motion. But
now that last pod, by the way, that last podcast with Chris McGlade was a bit of a game changer for us for the podcast, because Chris shared it within his Facebook, and thanks to Chris for doing that, and thanks for coming along and doing the interview. It was very interesting. It really sort of opened up some interest. We could have talked for a lot longer, I think.
I think so.
And maybe we get him on the pod in the future. But he's so keen on what we're doing for men's health and trying to, share the story, share the campaign, that he's decided to become an ambassador for the campaign. So we've got the Mayor of Middlesbrough, we've got other people who are higher profile who can help to elevate the awareness of the campaign. And Chris shared it to his international Facebook followers. And it's sent BoroManCan to another level. I think it's kind of like, exposed it to a whole lot more people. And it's led, he's connected as well through his stand-up and, through the work he's done. He's connected to a few people who are a bit more high profile. And that's led to something else.
Yeah, so next Tuesday, have you took time off work, by the way?
I have, don't worry.
Have you?
It's not next Tuesday, it's Tuesday after. But anyway,
Week on Tuesday.
Week on Tuesday.
what's happening?
Oh,
So I've got it booked in.
Thanks to Chris again, we are going to interview Dean Windass in Hull.
Ex-Borough player with Dean Windass.
Ex-Borough player, ex-Hull, ex-Aberdeen, I believe.
Bit of a softie on the pitch, wasn't he?
So I'm excited for that. I spoke to him this week and he's well up for it. Lovely guy. Just was like, yep, look, we'll book a pub.
Yeah.
We'll have a few pints and we'll chat. And I think that's where we're aiming this at, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. And I think I've seen his interview with Tyson Fury where they're talking about mental health and they have a laugh with it and they really open up about it. And so that's going to be a really, I think it'll be a bit of a fascinating interview because he is just a working class lad who has done well for himself in the world of football. It'll be interesting to see how. I've got some good questions for him around sport, mental health, coming out of sport, and the adulation at the field.
I'm pleased you said coming out of sport. I thought you were going to say something else there. I thought,
no,
Dean Windass isn't going to be happy here. I don't think. Yeah,
I'm all right with that.
So, and then that'll link in quite well to this new FA Cup thing as well.
Yeah, so I've been. Do you know it was off the Peter Crouch podcast I was listening to?
Who?
Peter Crouch.
Never heard of him.
And
Tall story.
They had Prince William on, and they went to Buckingham Palace. I mean, we're going to Hull to a pub to interview Dean Windass. Crouchy then went to Buckingham Palace.
That's like a palace in Hull.
Yeah. Got a curry ordered and interviewed Prince William. And I've been doing some research around Prince William, and I think he has suffered massively.
He's a member of the royal family.
Is he?
Yeah.
Shit.
Just telling you, keep you straight.
And obviously he's suffered with his mental health, with his mum dying and all that. And he has been the driving force behind getting the name of the FA Cup changed. So it was the Emirates FA Cup and all the sponsorship and all the money that comes with it. And the whole FA Cup campaign now, and I think it's going to stay, it's called the Heads Up FA Cup. And it's in conjunction with Mind. So they are pushing the mental health awareness within football, within sport. And I think
it's about time.
I know we talk about different sports, but I think generally football is the one that grabs the attention. And I think the fact they've done that is fantastic. And when I've had a look at the website, and if you just click onto the FA website, do you know how I found it? I was trying to register a kid for my football team. And we have to do it all online now, and it's all through the FA. So I've got like a fan number with the FA, and it just flashed up. And I started to have a look at it, and they've got things like a messaging service, a crisis messaging service. That basically, you described it well. Just hit the red button.
Big red button.
Hit that big red button and ask for help. And they've got things for referees. They've got guidelines for coaches, because I keep mentioning I coach kids football, and where I'm at Arcadia, the amount of blokes that come through that club on a weekly basis who are coaching, etc. And I think it's a fantastic thing that if they've got somewhere they can relate to, like the FA, they might not feel as stigmatised by going through football rather than
it's just another outlet
directly and saying I'm struggling. I think if they go, actually, it's through football, so I think it's
it's unique. I think the idea is, what I've heard is that they've got this app where coaches can check in with the kids, and then kids can have a direct conversation with a trusted coach. Actually, I'm struggling, and then there's something there you can immediately hit to get that support in place. That's brilliant.
I think as well, I know, but like I'll talk about it for just 2 minutes, but coaching kids football can be mentally draining. Like I put like my heart and soul into that team. I'm constantly thinking about how can I improve some kids, the kids that are flying, how can I get them better? How can I get the kids that are struggling up to that level? You're contending with parents' expectations, which is very difficult at times. You have to have difficult conversations around some kids are struggling, some aren't. And I can quite easily see, especially when you're running an older team as well. I mean, man are under 11s at the minute, but I think if you're doing like 16, 17-year-olds, they can be very complex. And I think mental health awareness, I know Cada, the training mental health first aiders within the coaching staff.
You know, there's a lot of kids who come to football. That might be their only normality every week.
Oh, no.
And so that might be the only trusted adult they see all week. And that's a huge thing. I mean, that's a lot to take on. It's also a hell of an opportunity to help kids, move forward. And
I know there's a couple of people who I know coach who enjoy taking on the challenging kids. And say I like it. Like I enjoy a kid coming who's good at football.
Do they tend to be the types who have had difficulties themselves in the past? Do you think? Yeah, that's brilliant.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, makes sense.
But they need picking up. They need dropping off. Some weeks they won't turn up.
Yeah.
Some weeks they'll tell you to F off.
Yeah.
Because the few, but
like Idris.
yeah.
No, because you're doing this in a voluntary capacity, and you've got your day job as well, and you do it because you have a passion for the support for football, but also supporting people that underprivileged in our communities, and give them a platform to excel and express themselves. So it's and if you got challenges at home or in the locality that you live in, then I think you're going to have a few additional barriers, aren't you? And,
But I think it's good for kids' mental health. Like, Mum always used to say to me, like, you got all of your aggression out on the football pitch. Like, I am not, outside of football, I can't fight sleep. Put me on a football pitch, I will run through a brick wall just to win a tackle or get the ball. And it does, and I think it's a sport of any type is a great outlet for kids. And it's a great outlet for coaches as well, because it gets you out the house a couple of times a week. If you've got shit on at home, you can leave it behind just for a couple of hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a bit of crack with some kids.
Nothing can interrupt your game, can it? Basically, that's it.
And I think
like I said, you're connecting with others. You're being active, getting out there. I mean, it's all about well-being stuff again.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but I think what the FA are doing with that is a fantastic initiative, and I just wanted to tip me out one really because it's about time.
Yeah.
I think if you look at the famous meltdowns of like Tony Adams drink driving, Paul Merson.
I'd missed the Tony Adams one.
Yeah.
Right.
He crashed his, I think it was a Sierra Cosworth at the time.
Nice.
He's playing for Arsenal. Then you look at Paul Merson.
Yeah.
Massively struggled.
XR3.
Player. Yeah. I think Paul Gascoigne, I watched a documentary on him the other week, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, like,
genuinely heartbreaking. The country have ruined him. The press have ruined him.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying he's not through his own faults.
No, I
don't
understand.
want to go into his own personal situation, but the documentary I watched was heartbreaking.
He had a lot of people take advantage, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But then you look at that, that's just the high-profile ones. A kid called Lee Hendry who used to play for Aston Villa, 40 grand a week, bought his mum and dad houses, and I've watched a documentary on him, tried to commit suicide a few times because his world came crashing down, the recession hit.
I know he's awful because I can't remember his name, but who was the one who actually did successfully complete in his garage, and then his girlfriend found him? He'd threatened to do it.
Gary Speed.
That was Gary Speed, right? Did he complete? He did.
He died, didn't he?
He did. That's awful. That's bloody terrible. I remember that one particularly. That was very high profile. But look, all these things
what
that
I'm saying
happen
about the high profile ones is for them, there's 55,000 other blokes who were struggling.
Yeah.
Turn up at Hackney Marshes in London on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Turn up at Cardiff Fleet on a Sunday just to play football with the mates, pissed. They're struggling. Yeah. But it's a great outlet.
But it's got to be clear, isn't it? Because if you're in the public eye, there's a whole pressure that comes with that anyway, right? And so that is part of it. There's like a perfection element to it. I know I've read before about how elite athletes, because I'm obviously with the triathlon, British Triathlon put a lot of stuff out to our club as well. They could probably do a lot more with mental health, but I was going to say elite athletes tend to have that perfection element to them as well. So they put the pressure on themselves, and that's how they reach those dizzying heights of athleticism. But it's how that becomes relatable, basically, to the grassroots side of the sport. In the fact that it's actually you don't have to be elite to have those pressures. It's actually the pressures of daily life are bloody hard enough, and it's a billion different reasons. But ultimately, the whole message you've got to try and get across is what BoroManCan is about, which is about getting support earlier, whether it's from your friends, whether it's from counselling services, whatever it is, ultimately, and not sitting on it, not letting it build up. And the more we have the conversation, being like part of the open, so it's in football, you can have that conversation, and you have other opportunities where people can push those buttons. That's the better society we're going to get to, basically. And it's not bloody, it's not like a soft society. It's not a snowflake thing. It's just we can get physically ill, we can get mentally ill, and things. There's usually plenty of signs on the way to that, and we make sure that we support people as we do, the three of us as well.
I think just the last thing on that, though, I think people need to start being better prepared because of what is going on at the minute with COVID and all that. Like, I anticipate the kids' football season won't start in October, and my kids are excited to be playing every Sunday, travelling to different places, Gisborough, Trimden, and I know the Durham FA this weekend have cancelled all of their Russell Foster games, all the adult games are off, and I just think people need to, I've started to prepare my kids that the season might not start. You just need to get that in your heads, because for kids of that age, it's hard. And for them to just suddenly stop again and the exercise stops and they put a little bit of weight, it's hard, but I hope it does.
And how's your week been generally, by the way?
Good, really positive. So my missus is going through really good things with work. She's got herself a new job. I celebrated yesterday a bit too much.
Oh yeah.
I'm
paying for it this morning.
Yeah, I'm a bit rough today.
I didn't know until he always looks like that. I didn't realise until he said, "Did you?"
No, he messaged on the group last night. I was pissed.
I just put, I'm pissed. What have I missed? Yeah.
He did announce it. Yeah, he got the appropriate treatment back.
Well, it's just a few things really to celebrate. I've got 15 years in the police yesterday, which I'm proud of. But I know I whinge about my job and stuff, but I am proud that I've
staying in the police that long probably should be an arrestable offence.
Stamina there.
It was what?
Stamina.
So
it's not what his missus said.
Yeah, no, 30 seconds at best. So 15 years yesterday in the police. Both my kids, our Isaac and Ivy, are doing fantastic with their football, getting plaudits. My son's just been made vice captain of his little team. I also want to mention something that has put my faith back in human beings. Is a mate of mine. I know I'd put on the group around raising money for my son's football team, trying to get a training kit, and Idris kindly sponsored my kids' football team. And on the back of that, just on that one, I'm getting on our training kits. I'm getting my sister's place printed on the arm to support them.
Fantastic.
And the only reason, well, I've seen the hard work they do through Alex, and when she was working from home during COVID, honestly, they're like angels, really. It's the stuff they do. So I thought I'd put that on to support them. And on the home kit, underneath the number, I'm getting the BoroManCan logo, just to try and get the message out as much as I can. But my mate is kindly sponsored my son's football team, give us a lot of money for training kits and other equipment. So he has said he doesn't want anything to do with his business on there. He just wants to have the BoroManCan logo on the shirt, which for someone to give you sponsorship money and get no gain from it.
Yeah.
I know we discussed it in the week. I don't think I've heard of it.
Fantastic.
And I just wanted to, but it shows that, you know, people are willing to support us. And if so, that will now be on so the BoroManCan logo I've pushed to get on a football kit in Normanby, and it'll be on a football kit at Cader. So the exposure, and it's not just about that. It's about pushing the campaign and support.
Yeah, for the website. And
I suppose if it just gets a conversation going, BoroManCan, what's all that about?
Yeah.
And then it just, you know, people that might, you just want a conversation starter. And I think, you know, having a logo or a slogan or something along those lines,
especially in junior football, if you mention the borough, it attracts people's attention. So no, it's been really nice of him. So I want to thank him, and it's been good. It's been good.
Excellent work.
That's great. Thank you do you want to give his name? I would like to thank James. James, thank you so much for your generosity and your contribution to the football club, and for allowing us to take the space for BoroManCan and hopefully supporting people out there and people getting support and access and help that they need and deserve.
Beauty.
So time to move on, guys.
So, well, Idris, every show we like to celebrate the fails, don't we? Unfortunate encounters and comedic moments that men have found themselves in, and thus bring their stories into the public realm. We call this section Man Down.
We do indeed. So let's
Man down.
What on earth was that?
You like that?
Yes, that was a Man Down, and I've been looking around and looking in the dungeons of the internet and found a couple, one weed one. Well, they're both weed.
Can I just say I don't know anything about these? So I'm half cut last night, and I just see this ream of messages of you two pissing yourselves, and you saying I'm trying not to wake Bex up through pissing myself laughing.
I was genuinely,
and I genuinely don't. I haven't even. I thought, right, I won't read them. So this is genuinely a surprise for me. And if the messages on the group now out will go by.
I tell you what, the news has not let us down recently.
Yeah, I think we're going to start with the local one. What do you think, guys? So let me see if I can bring this on screen for our viewers as well. And let's have a look and see what's been happening. You know, this news hit the media a few days ago.
Great newspaper.
Yeah.
It's got to be true. We should use the word allegedly a lot.
It was actually, it was on local news as well, that our local MP for Middlesbrough South, Sam Clark, has resigned his position from government.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you have loads of issues going on. You want to prioritize family and things like that.
Yeah.
And that's what he said. He said he was going to prioritize family issues and things
That's
like
right.
that. And then I thought, yeah, well done, Simon. Good on you.
That's right.
And
Work-life balance was a term I used.
Work-life balance. Well, he has been balanced in something.
No.
Well, I wasn't sure if he was going to be man up or man down after I read the headlines. So it says, head over heels in lust, married Tory minister quits government post to save his lover's job.
Yes.
So apparently...
it was him or the lover who worked at Parliament, apparently.
What?
He's got a nickname.
Yeah. Well, as you can see from the images there, that's his wife, Hannah, and that's Simon. And he's known as Stilts.
Stilts, because he's 6'7". It's a long way to fall, isn't it?
Definitely is.
When you're a man down.
But I suppose when you...
Can you scroll down a minute?
Oh, yeah.
How do you get 2 women?
Oh, stop it. Despite, I think it might have something to do with him being an MP, sir. I don't know. But leave his wife out of it. That's the sad start part of this story, really.
Wife Hannah looked devastated. So basically, he's left his missus.
They're getting divorced by the looks of it. But he's been, allegedly has been having something of a relationship with someone who works in Parliament by the looks of it.
Oh,
so Chief Whip Mark Spencer said it was either him, step down from government, or she would lose a job there, or his lover.
So
down. Now his office is about 30 seconds walk from where I live, and I noticed it quite a lot. The shutters are down when I'm out walking about and stuff, and it has been open a bit more recently. So apparently, it says in the article he's spending a lot of time down south. I don't know if that was geographical.
I don't know if you spend any time down south as well.
Brutal. It's absolutely brutal.
Look at the comments. Lick my lolly.
I think we leave the comments out of here. So, but,
it's brutal. He's got a kid as well. I mean, it's the serious side of it is horrible. But I mean, MP or not, Tory Labour, it makes no odds to me. I think all MPs are capable of being doing things like this. But it is a classic, isn't it?
But I suppose when you're spending so much time away from your wife and and spending it with other women,
yeah.
I wouldn't know what that is, but it's.
Yeah.
What are you looking at? But I don't work away, so I'm at home all the time. So
you can see how it happens, but if you're a chief whip,
yes, I know. Yeah,
chief whip, and he's 6'7", and he's having. I feel sorry for his wife.
Well, he's had to. She's still working there. She's gonna be handing off to someone else now.
Hey.
As well. I'm just saying. I know. Yeah. Funnily enough,
she's handing someone else off.
I know it's there's a lot of handing off going on recently, isn't there?
Yeah, it was that supposed to be the link to the next one.
Is this the one you were howling at?
Oh, mate, that was the one last night. It was some of the we started to jot puns down about
woman
it.
who delivery cut off.
So this is from Austria, I think. So how do you pronounce it? Julia, who a woman who deliberately cut off her hand in an insurance scam has been jailed for 2 years.
Wow.
If she had been successful, she was looking to collect around about £1 million, £925,000. And so she cut her hand off with her.
It's one man down. One man.
Yeah, this is the old. So it is, but it's man down by proxy because her boyfriend was involved in it.
So they've cut her hand off.
Well, yeah. So she's I mean, how much is a handoff worth?
I'd pay $1 million for that.
925,000. Well, apparently. Yeah, apparently. How much would it cost you? How much would I have to give you to chop your own arm off? Chop your own hand off?
Searching there for information about how artificial hands work.
Yeah, so it was obviously her boyfriend has been. But would you still?
To get like vibrating artificial hands and stuff. You're gonna need one.
She's flat out. Just take the hand.
They left the hand behind when they went to the hospital. So then they got it and then they managed to put it back on. Obviously, modern tech, they can do all that.
Put the hand back on?
They put the hand back on, but they left it there to try and obviously let it go, what do you call it, like necrotic or whatever, so it wouldn't be reattachable. So they got it and were able to reattach it.
I think the police went back to the scene, collected the hand, and then bought it back. And but they were all intent on, obviously. I know, it's a lot of pain to go
through. Unreal. With a circular saw as well. It's like the horror film, isn't it?
I like the fact that he's going, I tell you what, you cut your hand
I know, yeah.
I'll do it. I'll get gloved up and fully able.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, you just take the painkiller.
That's it.
And what we'll do is we will get 900 grand, but you cut your hand off. And he's like, all the best with that.
Dear me.
Imagine the pain.
So they're taking the insurance policies out a year before, I think.
What sort of price would you put on your limb?
On your what? On your limb?
Yeah.
I don't know, it depends what it is, doesn't it? I think if you lose a leg, that's brutal, isn't it? But
2 years suspended. 2 year sentence.
I don't think you could you? A hand. So my left hand, do I use it much?
All the time.
Yeah, he does to make it feel like someone else.
Yeah.
Sit on it for about 5 minutes.
It goes nuts.
Yeah.
You're just gonna fake it for £1 million?
125. Unreal. It's extreme.
It is very extreme, and I feel sorry for the poor woman.
Yeah, well, she's still a bit numb,
I
apparently.
don't feel sorry for her. Why do you feel sorry for her?
Well, she's probably been talked into, isn't it, by the bloke?
It's a circular,
Oh, man.
No one wants to be crippled. My youth has been destroyed.
It's brutal. It's not just your youth. Well, there you go. Quite an expensive handoff, I think. So there you go. It's the week of the handoffs.
It is, yeah.
Basically, is where we're going with this. But yeah, it's sad. I know other people have been affected. But that first story about the MP, don't get me wrong, he's the wife and he's got a child that's all been affected. But you know, God, you just can't trust them, can you? They let us down over and over.
You can't tar all the MPs with the same brush.
You can't. I agree. You can't generalise. Of course, there's going to be there's many good ones, and then you've got those who. But then,
well, that's what we discussed last week with Chris, wasn't it? He
what's
said
going
people, you know, if you've got a good campaign, it doesn't matter what side you're on, and if you're a decent person, that's what
correct.
You're about.
That's why I'm saying I'm not going to get political about it. The guy's been caught. He's going to have to deal with all that.
I just think it's the MP thing again, isn't it? Where they just continuously think that they're not going to get caught out. They think they can just lie. They think they can feed us full of shit. And it's just never ending, is it? They're a constant source of humour, aren't they?
But the thing is, the other thing is, I mean, if there's probably something not right in his relationship anyway, if he's doing that, right? I dare say things aren't right at home, or it might come as a surprise to his wife. But there's a better option, isn't there? Which is...
Yeah, but you're losing your job. Like,
well, I mean, yeah, he's still an MP, but like backbench or whatever, I guess now. But
no longer a chief whip.
I might go and see him. I'm sure he'll welcome me into his office now.
No stilts.
I know, yeah. Okay,
no stilts.
Do you mind if I get a bar still? I might meet. I know.
On about crouch.
Yeah, no, yeah. Fucking yeah.
Anyway, thank you to Sam Clark for that particular segment.
I want him introducing my girlfriend though.
No.
You know, this guy's obviously a bit of a stallion.
Still
Isn't
love
he?
a man,
I know, yeah.
Anyway, it's where there's a man down, there's always a man up.
There certainly is.
We do have a great man up, and if you have any contributions that you would like to make on this particular show, if you are involved with a group, an organization, you've got a great story to tell, and then we would love to hear from you guys. You can drop us a message on the Facebook page, just click on the messenger. Or if you prefer, and the old way, you can send us an email. It's fools@BoroManCan.co.uk. So that is a way of getting in touch. So
getting in touch as well.
Glad to hear from them. It's been good.
It is. So let's head towards Man Up, and then Richie's going to do the introduction in a moment.
Yeah. What's going on, like? Yeah? Man Up.
Thanks very much. So, obviously, loads of good stories out there to tell people from men who live in the sort of Teesside, Middlesbrough area who have been through some difficulties in their life, have turned their lives around. Some of them are somewhere along that journey, some of them are at the end of that journey, and some of them have done a whole other load of things around them to help other men as well. And they're the ones we tend to bring in for this part of it. So, in Man Up this week, I spoke to a guy who had approached us called Gareth Howell. He's an army veteran. From Redcar originally, born in Borough, who joined the army at 16. That's going to be an important part of this story as well, I think. He did the Royal Signals, 23 and a half years, so a fantastic long career as well. Gareth has set up a new group that started off for veterans called Walk and Talk, that was in February this year, to support them in regular exercise, helping them to find a purpose and giving them a place to talk about the ups and downs they experience. And then obviously doing that amongst other men who can draw on similar experiences as well. He himself experienced depression after coming out of the army. And in his own words, he went from going from a leader of men to the bottom of the pile. And he himself was setting up the group, and he was struggling with just to Civvy Street. regular family life and was looking for meaning and purpose himself, which is about being in the army that whole life as well. He's also experienced personal tragedy with suicide linked to alcohol, and is keen to share his experience. And the now established tradition of BoroManCan to inspire other men to gain the means to move forward in their lives. So welcome, Gareth, onto the pod. Where and how do we find you today?
So Gareth is here with us virtually. He's not here at the studio, so let's bring him in and say a warm welcome to Gareth. Hi, Gareth. How are you?
Good morning, lads. Very well, thank you very much. It's been a busy week. Obviously, I'm at work. I'm on switch day today, so you've caught me at a good time. Back on the nights tonight, and enjoying life.
Fantastic. What you've got some decoration going on behind you there. I saw some medals. I saw Ghostbusters. Not the combination you always see. What's going on there?
It's just my little tribute wall, really. Obviously, spending so long in the army, it's wherever you go, you kind of get a plaque of the unit you've served at, and like different operations and stuff you've been on. So it's just my little homage to my career, really. The Ghostbuster sign you see is from a job I used to do in Northern Ireland, and it was an anti-terrorist job. So the whole scenario of the Ghostbuster sign is fighting an invisible enemy. So that's why, hence the reason we have the Ghostbuster logo.
I didn't know that.
I was going to take the piss out of it, but I think he hung up.
No, yeah, you've killed that one.
Jesus.
Sorry, Boris might reignite that one day. You see, you got your T-shirt on there as well. Walk and talk.
Yeah.
For the group. What's it say underneath there?
It's our logo, and it basically says helping each other one step at a time, and that's exactly what we do. We don't do anything drastic.
Yes.
Everyone's at different stages, so we take them where they are and move on to the next step. Hopefully, obviously enough steps, and you'll get to the end of the staircase.
Yeah, the work I did with Men's Health, we spoke to like a lot of different groups, a lot of different men's health groups over the years, and discovered that a lot of things that happen naturally are just trying to do the same thing, get blokes to talk and get them to move forward with it, step by step. That's the opposite to men kind of doing the all at once sort of thing, like we were talking earlier about men, about going for a bike ride, and obviously like not going for a 50-mile bike ride straight away, but doing it step by step, starting off with 10 miles, build it up as well. So I know we're all going to have a bit of a chat today as well. Do you want to tell us a little bit about where your story starts, Gareth?
Okay. Well, basically, like you've already said, I joined the army when I was 16-year-old, so I didn't really know anything else. I stayed there till I was 40. There's times within the army, certainly in Afghanistan. In fact, the first time I saw anything of any danger was in Bosnia. I was like 21 in 1995, 96. The first time I've actually witnessed death firsthand. So you don't think it has an impact on you at the time because you're there doing a job. But I can still smell it. I still smell that smell. Obviously, I've moved on to different conflicts and through Kosovo, Iraq, Afghanistan, and I still smell that smell. And it just immediately takes me back to the first time I smelled it. So that was, and I can still smell it now if I smell something like a dead animal, which is out whilst I'm walking. Again, it can trigger. I have lots of little things like that trigger things. Just takes me back to memories, to times that weren't good for not particularly me, but certain people who I served with, and serving in Iraq and Afghanistan, and losing people to not only losing people and sitting there on repatriation ceremonies, which are quite worrying because these bodies are flying off back to, these soldiers are flying off back to the UK, draped in the Union flag, back to Brize Norton or wherever, and the ceremony takes place. We all say our goodbyes, we give over a minute's silence, and then they take off. Plane's gone, and then bang, straight back onto normal work, and knowing that you could be next. It can play on your mind for some people. The idea is to keep busy though, and that's why the army keep you busy there, definitely, because if you were dwelling on what was going on at the time, It could be, you can become really dysfunctional, I suppose. A lot of people do experience fear. Hardly surprising. You're on heightened awareness all the time. Your senses are heightened. So a funny story is when I came home on R&R once, I was in Tesco's car park in Redcar, and like R&R is when you go for 6 or 7 month tours, you get like 2 weeks off in between. So the day before I'd been in Afghanistan or Iraq, I can't remember which one it was, and there I was doing a weekly shop with the missus in Tesco's the next day. And basically what happened, car backfired and I hit the ground like bang, because I was belly down and looking up, which is like something that you do when you're observing. But it was just a drill. It's a drill, and because I hadn't been decommissioned and I was still in that heightened state, it was just the way I was. And I thought,
Yeah.
I must look a right twat.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just the way it happens, and yeah, it's a strange thing going through all them things, and brings me on to like guys who end up with PTSD and stuff like that. If they're in them situations, it's not unusual these days to find yourself, well, when you're serving in a place like that, to find yourself in conflict of some kind. So it's not like the old days of World War One or World War Two, where they had a line and we're this side, they're that side, and then you go over the top. It's nothing like that at all. It's all around you all the time. It's just it's the unknown, which makes it a bit more difficult.
I think, Gareth, like, sorry to interrupt, we had Dave on a previous guest, didn't we, who he's one of my best mates, and he's tried to commit suicide and stuff, and he was in the Navy. And what you were saying there was echoing what Dave said. You say, like, about smells, the heat when he got off a plane, he couldn't handle that because it reminded him of Afghanistan. The smell of a certain drink, I can't remember what it was, that Dave said, but when he sat on a plane, he has to sit in his seat while everyone's getting the cases off because he can't cope. And it's them little things, I suppose, that people don't see. Your little things in your life that you have to do to steady yourself because of what you've experienced, and it's tragic, really.
I think it's because we've grown up with it and it's been part of our life for so long. It just becomes part of you, and you don't realise until you speak to other people that is not normal. And when you're speaking to the civvies in your life, not the ex-vets or the people who are serving, but when you're speaking to civilians per se, and they say, well, that's not normal to be like that. And you think, oh, isn't it? Because you don't know any different.
Do you know what, Gareth? I'm a police officer, and I talk to the probationers about, like, just about the work that I do and stuff. And I always finish off giving them a little thing about mental health within the police, because I had like a bit of a wobble, and through PTSD, the death of a child that I went to in 2006, and I only had a year's service in then. And I speak to them, and your words echo me a bit, really. Like, it's not normal what you deal with. Like, being a police officer on the front line, it's dark. And, you know, I can relate to what you're saying there, because 1 minute you might be chasing someone over a back fence. The next minute you might be having a laugh at people in the bait room. The next minute you're at the death of a child. Then the next minute you're seeing more death or violence, drugs. And it's not normal. And the work, and I can relate to that a lot. Like, the work that people do in your work, your line of work, my line of work, to everybody else, they don't see that. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's very easy for people to criticise a police officer or someone in the army, but you don't know silently. A lot of people have not even been through half of what people have been through. And you've got to remember that when you're dealing with people. I think that, you know, like you jumping on the ground there at Tesco, I'd have howled if I saw you. But, but you know, yeah, I'd have jumped on the floor, just sniper. But, you know, to other people, I think, what's he doing? He's a bit mental. But, like, people don't get, like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing the police to what you've been through or anything like that. It's just that death and that normality is not there in your day-to-day life. Like, you don't just get up, go to work, have your dinner, sit in an office, boring, and come home, do you? It's very much.
No, it's you. It's part of who you are. It becomes part of your life. It's not just any vocations like that are all the same. Like nursing, fireman. It's who you become. It's not just a 9 to 5 desk job. It's you kind of live it. You live through it. And that's how you live your life. Yeah.
There's getting to the point where you come back onto Civvy Street, as I say, don't they? So you give your life to the army. You occasionally dip out of it. You know, you carry on with the family, and you're not living with your wife and your kids, every day. And so then suddenly, you go from that's your life, and in your words, you're a leader of men, to the bottom of the pile, as you felt, and then you started, and this is something. I mean, actually, this is going to take you to a point where it's unique to the army, unique to service, to those services, where you suddenly have that massive shift. Other people can experience that kind of shift in other ways, but I think it is unique. But it got to a point where you said you came back, suddenly you've got, I mean, the Tesco example is perfect, isn't it? But what I'm trying to say is suddenly that's it, and there's no going back. You've now only got forward with this new life, which is actually a bit like what most of us have, some sort of like a regular sort of thing. So what happened there? How did it affect you, and take us up to the point where you realised that you needed to do something, and what you decided to do to help with that?
Yeah, well, I think the scariest part of it was I didn't realise it was happening at the time. It's only when I reflected back and thought, why am I being such a dick? That I kind of realised I'd been going through a depression of my own, and I was always angry. I used to blame everyone else but myself. Kind of attitude, and it made my life horrendous. Not mine, but my family's lives are horrendous. And they were walking around on eggshells behind me, around me all the time. And I grew up in an environment like that, and I would not wish that on anyone in their life. It's absolutely horrendous environment to be in. And until probably 2-3 years after I'd left, I was just going from job to job. I was trained when I left. I retrained, and the army look after you, and they give you resettlement and help you that way. I retrained as a telecoms engineer. Got a job with a telecoms firm, but it was all price per job, and I was new. And in the army, you get plenty of time to train. You get plenty of time to hone your skill before anyone's on your back saying, "Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that?" But it's a cutthroat world when you get away, and you have to be rather pick it up quick and be happy, or you just deal with what's in front of you. So I didn't enjoy the job. That was the long and short of it. Luckily, I got picked up to be on a chemical to work on a chemical plant through a recruiter firm. It was recruited ex-forces, and I got to go and work there for 12 months, which was amazing. I got loads of time off. And I think having that time off gave me the break I needed to reflect on myself and my life. And it was kind of a light bulb moment to think, yeah, I have been an absolute twat to my family. Not physically or anything, but just gobbing off, being in a mood. All those classic signs of being depressed, and something had to change.
Yeah.
So when you come to that realization that you have been a bit of a twat and things need to change, what process did you take to get where you are now? You know, how did you go about, and especially in terms of developing the group, and what steps did you take?
Well, it's really strange because believe it or not, I went on a property course with a lad called Stephen Green, who's my mentor, and part of his course is, well, half of his course is mindset training. It's something I've never heard of, apart from training for specific things in the army, or if I was boxing or playing football. We used to do little mindset sessions just to get us in that frame of mind, as I say. But mindset, as in discovering yourself, and everyone may think it's all a bit woo-woo and stuff like that, but it's something I discovered, and it's something that I really enjoyed. And I knew that I had a bigger purpose. That's what came out of that whole thing. I still haven't bought a property, but I've just gone on the mindset journey instead. And by doing that, it allowed me to realise I had a purpose to give back to the community. Hopefully, initially it was for veterans, but that didn't. I felt selfish by just making it a veterans community. So what I did, because I know people, and when I came out, it was basically when Steelworks closed, and there was a lot of suicides going on. Certainly, people from Redcar were committing it, not only male but female as well, and people I knew. So I thought there has to be something I can do to help alleviate this issue, and hence the reason Walk and Talk was born. Because I found when I was going out, my place of peace and reflection, if you like, was walking along Redcar Beach, and I'd go out and do a good hour, 2 hours on there sometimes. I'd come back and I'd be totally chilled out, refreshed, and I thought, well, if it works for me, then I'm sure it can work for other guys. Hence the reason that Walk and Talk was born.
Fantastic.
So when did you start Walk and Talk, Gareth? So when did that come about, and how fast has it moved on?
Actually started in February of this year, and we did one walk. We had like 20 people on it, and that's when I knew there was a need for it within the community. Then COVID came, but it didn't stop us, because now we've gone from that 20 people on the first walk. The actual Facebook group itself has got nearly 500 people in it. A lot of them, don't get me wrong, about a third of them are ex-vets and friends of mine from the army. So, but the rest of them are from the local area.
And is that male and female? All
No,
ages?
This is a male-only group. It's male-only, and I did that on purpose because I remember when I was a kid, and in the clubs and that, they used to have the men-only rooms, and I always remember them. That's where the men used to do their venting off. And obviously, since all that's gone, I felt like there's nowhere for them to actually do that anymore. So that's the reason I made it a male-only.
Do you know what, Gareth? Since I've come on board with this campaign with Richie and Idris, it's a new name. I found that like what warms my heart more than anything is there are a lot of things going on for men's mental health. I know we've had Rory on with Find the Light in Mask. You're doing this stuff at Walk and Talk, you know.
There's all these grassroots projects.
Yeah, there's all these
suicide prevention, mental health. And
it's heartwarming because a lot of people are recognising that there's a need for it, and it's almost not like a movement, but there's little things going on that even if you've got 10, 20 people, you're helping. It's amazing. And I think, Gareth, how does it help you? Sorry, Rich.
No, so while we're on the point, sorry, Gareth. While we're on the point about men's only, because you've said it yourself, you did it for a very specific reason, and obviously, and actually, you've given an example I haven't heard before, which is basically the old school where men vent off when they're with others. And I used to do. It's the very reason I set up the BoroManCan campaign. I encourage others. The men's health plan in Middlesbrough, it literally says that we need to reorient health services and create groups that are specifically for men. Okay, and occasionally in my job, I've come up against resistance to that, and usually it can come from men or women, but usually the question is, well, what are the women's equivalent? And I'm like, usually my answer is, well, I can point very easily at things that aren't necessarily designed for women, but they sort of are, because a lot of health services necessarily have evolved into something which is just provide for women better, because more women attend health services. So that's the thing, and men really need a different approach. They need the language is important, the environment, the whole culture about the activity. It's quite important to get it right. And I just wondered, obviously, with what you've done so far, it is men only, but I'll guarantee that I'll put money on the fact that you've not designed it, but it's evolved in a way where it's blokes only, and it works. Do you know what I mean? And they know it.
It is, and it's that's one of the attractions to the group. I'll be honest. It's because it is only because there's groups out there for families and women only, but the men's groups, men only, is very, very few and far between. So it's definitely an attraction to the group. On the flip side of that, we are now opening a female only group as well, which is in conjunction with the Link charity in Redcar, and they're going to take that under our banner. So
fantastic. That's great.
How does it help you, Gareth? I know
Yeah,
you said that you go walking and stuff in it, and that helps you. But how is this? Is this helping you personally with your struggles?
I'll tell you something now. It's a selfish act on my part, and I don't mind admitting that. And that's because for me, it's a therapy in itself, and it's by me being able to give back to other people and help other people, and the fact that we don't come under any banner as well. That's what people like about us, as such as in we're not an authoritative. I'm just a lad off the street, used to be in the army, likes to go out and get in the fresh air and do a bit of fitness, and that's it. And that's the thing that one helps them guys, but for me, like I say, it is a selfish thing for me to do, but it's a win-win situation in my eyes.
It seems to be a common theme, Richie and Matt, because everyone we spoke to, and especially grassroots organic movements like this, that people are leading them tend to find it quite therapeutic as well. But people resonate to their stories and why they're doing it, rather than something that's been led by public health or NHS. I think these smaller community-led, quite organic groups provide a great service and get people talking.
Idris, you know from the conversations, from the years we've been involved in community work, that this is how the best things that come are usually grassroots, aren't they? They evolve naturally, and it's no surprise to me that even without any connection to BoroManCan or any of the direction from the campaign, it's evolved this way by itself. And then we found you, walk and talk, and then obviously want to speak to you and help promote it, and obviously because we share the same values. But it's true, and it's not okay. It's selfish, but it's not at the same time. I mean, it's from the right place. I mean, how many people really get a chance to embrace something which is a bit of a passion for themselves and help other people out at the same time? How can that possibly be a bad thing?
Well, it's not, and
not, is it?
It's exactly how I feel about doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
If the one person listens to us or 10,000 people listen to us, I'm not bothered. It helps me, and I just like to think that our stories and the fact we're down to earth, and the fact that you, Gareth, are down to earth, it helps. It really helps, and it goes back to what Chris was saying last week about the working class people. It is a culture, and we do have our own needs in this area. And I will say it on every pod if it needs be. This area is unique. There's a lot of passion and a lot of heart for the area, and I think it's evident because we all want to help people within our area. But going back to the selfish point, I've used the word selfish before around things like I do. So, for example, if I want to go and play football or go on my bike, I appreciate that it impacts on my kids, on my missus. Yeah. But in your words, Gareth, you describe yourself as a twat at home without being selfish and without doing the things to clear your mind and make you feel better. It helps at home. It helps massively at home. And I know I've said it time and time again, but it does. It's like me going out on my bike. I know it impacts for a couple of hours where my missus is saying, you don't want to spend any time with me. But it's not that. I have to go out and reset myself so we have a better time at home.
Exactly that. And that's exactly what you just said is what I needed to do, and for that reason. And that's why my life at the minute is as good as it's ever been, because I take that time out and I have to. My wife's a nurse anyway, so she's a very understanding person. And when I've spoke to her about it, and then she's happy for me to do what I need to do to make our life better. And it's a win-win situation, isn't it?
Can I go back? I want to go back to the bit about, I'm going to call it self-help. Okay, I've read several self-help. You describe them as self-help books. Well, I've been on a journey to help myself, my knowledge about my job, around mental well-being, do this, and there was a slight discomfort when you were talking about it might be a bit soft or whatever, that kind of thing. It's interesting because you said, I was a bit of a twat, and it feels like we're all just calling you a twat now, by the way. But basically, when you say that, right? When you say that, what you're doing is saying, I'm not perfect, and I haven't been perfect. And actually, I recognise that I wasn't being, that I'm not ideal. And actually, there was things I wanted to change, right? And I really, really think that there's something about BoroManCan that wants to try and get into the heads of men. And if there's blokes listening to this right now, and it's like they know that shit isn't right in their life, that there's things they're just not happy, and there's things that they know that actually, if they're really honest with themselves, they are the architect of those problems, and they can also equally be the solution, right? So that stuff helps. And I know I've heard about some of the work that Stephen Green's been doing with the mind. What was it?
Strength to Succeed was his mindset event, which is
Mindset
that's what you
event.
need to get into. Yeah.
Yes, and it is very much about kind of orienting your behaviour towards the things you want to achieve in life, right? Which, and again, all the different books we referred to on the pod before, like your 12 Rules for Life, and for some reason it seems to be a controversial area, but that if you were to say to yourself at that point when you had that realization, what was it? Was there a tipping point? Was it going to that event? Was it reading a certain paragraph from a book? Was it something that tipped it?
Yeah, it was definitely that event, because what he was making you do was look at your life and then look at your ideal life and then how you're going to get to the ideal life that you're looking for. And there's no way I could have done it without that reflection. And it definitely happened. I went on to, it was a 3-day course, that one, and a lot of it was very deep. Don't realize it at the time, but it was very, very deep and made you think a hell of a lot about what you actually want in life.
It made you challenge, again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but did it make you sort of challenge the vulnerabilities you've got and get comfortable with those things? Is that part of that, or?
Definitely. I didn't, you see, before that, I didn't realize there were vulnerabilities. I just thought it was just me and just an ex-squaddy thing, but it isn't. And he definitely made me tap into myself and think about what it is I'm doing and how that me as a person, I'm responsible for making myself happy, and that was it.
Right, I'm a guy living in Borough. I feel like I want to be a bit more active, connect with some other guys. I haven't really got a purpose, but I know that I'm liking the sound of what you're saying. How do I get involved in Walk and Talk?
Basically, we're available on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, but the best way to do it is to go onto our Facebook group, WNT Redcar, answer the 2 membership questions, and then we'll let you into the group. You don't even need to you just join the group, observe it. If you want to participate in it, participate. If you don't, sit back and look what's going on in there. I know a lot of people do that, and I won't stop doing it because I know they're actually watching rather than participate. So, and they keep watching.
So how often do you meet as a group, and what sort of things? You know, it's a walking group, but do you do any other social activities as well as part of connecting with people?
Yeah. So what happened was through COVID, it kind of brought this on, even though it was quite early into our journey. We had to find different ways of getting around the walking scenario. So we had to reduce the group sizes, which is one thing that we did. Keep our social distancing, which is what we did. We kept the short. There's walks for walkers and there's walks for people who can hardly walk. So we were talking a couple of miles along the beach or in the woods. So the other things that we do, we have an allotment now that we can go and work on if you can't do the walk and you still want to be involved in it. We also have a woodwork shop. There's a good mate of mine from school called Neil Render who owns a shop called, in fact, he just left his job to do it full time. It's called Grandad's Shed. And what he does in there is makes bespoke furniture and stuff like that out of wood and like desks and stuff. And what he's offered to the group is to take lads in and teach them some woodwork skills. So all this comes out. This is the community run itself. It wasn't my ideas. They came to me with the idea, and then that's being passed on. So
that's fantastic. So we've got Grandad's Shed. You've got obviously the Walk and Talk.
Allotments.
You've got the allotments. Are they the Redcar?
Yeah.
What are they, Redcar or?
It's just one of the lads' allotment, lad in the group. It's he doesn't have time to do it, so he's offered it up to the group, and then there we go. We're going to go and sort it out for him. So next year we'll have our own crop of stuff to take away.
We'll make sure we get the details. I know you're a member of Rory Logan's Find the Light Facebook group as well, and
yes, indeed, yeah,
and he's done some great work. What we'll do is make sure we get Grandad's Shed, we get those things, put them on if it's okay, get them on as BoroManCan campaign partners and get them on the website as well, and push it out that way to help support you. And I mean,
there's another group as well. Sorry, there's another group that works in partnership with us, really. So there's 3 of us in like the Redcar area, and that's Rory's Find the Light, us, and another one that's run by a lad called Mark Robbins, and it's called Lifelines Hub, and that's also a mental health support group. So we all kind of combine together. And the reason we do that is because we're not in competition with each other. We all offer different things, and it helps us help more people.
Great. And that's all we want to say. This new wellbeing network I'm working on at the moment is very much about trying not get. We don't. And why would any group want to be precious about what they've got? You know, it's about that individual, isn't it, and what they need access to move forward in their lives. Remove the barriers to help them move forward in their lives, as we've all got as well. And I think you've just done that beautifully. You are the work you're doing is fantastic. You're a good man. The people you work with, clearly good people as well. Walk and talk, I think it's just obviously going to go places, and anything we can do to support it is excellent. And I just I think from all three of the fools, we'd sort of wish you the best for the future and continuing on with your journey. And maybe we touch base with you again in the future to see how things develop.
Yeah, superb. Thank you very much, lads. Thanks for having me on.
No, not at all.
Keep up the great work. Yeah.
Absolute pleasure
Cheers,
to chat to you. Thank you, Gareth.
Take care, mate.
Have a good weekend.
Just a quick break from the pod to tell you about the campaign. BoroManCan is a men's health initiative that aims to increase male access to health services through the use of role models and inspirational stories. Visit www.boromancan.co.uk to find out more. Thanks for listening. Let's get back to the pod.
Indeed, a great guest there, Gareth, and welcome back again to the back end of the pod. And what we're going to do now... Well, it is. It's almost finished, isn't it?
Whenever I can't hear you say anything that sounds vaguely like a double entendre. You've always got this little look on your face that says he knows the back end. I know, yeah. He knows it.
The back end, you know what I mean. Well, the final few minutes.
Absolutely.
Just to round things up. But if you guys liked what you hear, and especially the main part of this pod is our guests, and they make this interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And if you'd like to get involved in a future program, then all you have to do is drop us an email. It's fools@boromancan.co.uk. Do check out the website. It is www.boromancan.co.uk. We've got a few videos on there of our champions, people that have shared their stories, and some brave people on there, because it's difficult sharing your inner details, and when you have a mental health breakdown and you've had issues and barriers that you have to overcome. But it's great to see that people are willing to share their stories to help other people within our community.
So many people you meet who have these stories, they don't get through without support of a lot of people, and I think that's the one thing that a lot of men might try and do it themselves, and think that that actually the way other men do it is by themselves, like this show of strength, But the show of strength is actually to say, look, I can't do this by myself. I need some help. I need to be able to share but to really turn your issues over to someone you trust, it's just such a powerful thing, isn't it?
It is.
Isn't it just? We can on the website www.boromancan.co.uk. Before COVID, we were about to launch BoroManCan Partners Ambassadors program, and we got our first ambassador, the Mayor of Middlesbrough, and we've got Chris now as well. But we're going to be putting a form, I think, Idris, on the website quite soon, which is about people being able to sign up as a partner. And if they sign up as a BoroManCan partner, there's a few things they agree to. One is that they'll submit a story within the first year of someone that, like, let's say you've got like a community group you're running, like say Walk and Talk, that you'll recruit a story from that, and then to share it as part of the BoroManCan campaign, because I'm sure there'll be some great stories. Most people seem to struggle to just find one. There's usually quite a few. They'll do a couple of BoroManCan campaign promotions, like Men's Health Week, prostate cancer, whatever, just sharing information with the guys that attend their group, and a couple of other things that they commit to. So it's not a lot, but then become a BoroManCan partner, then they can use the branding as part of their activities and associate to the campaign as we continue to grow as well. So that's going to be coming up soon.
Definitely. It's a journey for us as well, as part of the campaign, as part of the pod, and hopefully a few steps we've taken, and all the hard work from Matt as well.
And your good self. I mean, you're chatting on this, you're doing the board and then recording it, and all. You've got all this stuff going on in front of you as well while you're doing this. So thanks to you as well, Idris, again, for keeping this going. Appreciate it.
No, it's a team effort. and so we make some mistakes, and we're not professionals by any stretch of the imagination. I use that word loosely. So
at the back end.
Yeah.
I just love doing it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
I look forward to it and everything. Can I end my little thing with a poem?
Please do. You do.
So
you went quiet. I knew you did a bit of poetry, and it was last week when Chris was on. He read a couple of poems. I think he did a poem, didn't he? That went.
I think it sparked an inner poet in him.
So 2 or 3 years ago, when I was going through my struggles, I, for some reason, and I don't know where it came from, started to write poems. I wrote one that's quite personal to me, which I won't probably ever read out. I wrote one about Middlesbrough, and I wrote one about over the border in Middlesbrough. And having Chris on last week kind of inspired me a bit to maybe push them out a bit, because they've just been hidden in my head and in my drawer. And I know I sent you it, didn't I? So I'm going to read it out anyway.
Go for it.
Go for it.
What's it called? What's it called? The poem?
Over the Border.
Over the Border by Matt Humman.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Premier. Over the border. I hear it was a bustling neighbourhood where people were all good. Bustling community looking after each other like everyone was a brother. Families proud to be from over the border. The industry that was there and still exists is immense and towering, in no way overpowering. I dream of what work was done in the yards, on the river, in the cold tea shiver. The camaraderie of men building the best in the world with steel and ships, that cold can't feel their fingertips. From Newport Bridge lifting to allow ships past, they must have dreamed it will always last. The three-faced clock tower powered by the T's, the men by nowhere worked with ease. Graft and guile to make the town proud, forever whatever the northeast weather. Now we see the remains and memories floating in the air, we walk past without a care, how times have changed. Newport Bridge in its red and grey clothing remains forever glued shut. The lads' bait rooms are now just an empty hut. Along the river we go, wild birds still soar, the seals have made it there. Along the river we go, wild birds still soar, the seals have made it their place. They have seen hard men working at such a pace. The wonderful, majestic dinosaur looking over and protecting that riverside roar. The roaring of industry, all its worldwide might, replaced with a team in red and white. We walk along the trod, lined with a friendly plod. We walk heads down, faces in scarves, hands in glove, but look round at the place we all love. Walk past a new trendy boho, you can still see it's as seedy as Soho. Take a different route past the old bank, still standing proud, its heritage badge wanting to be read loud. The pride we feel in this part of town, it's our over the border, let's not tear it down. To Teesiders, to outsiders, it's a dirty cloud of smog. To us Teesiders, it's a proud fog. Over the border is where we began, and those beginnings shall stand. Take the little and show them holding their hand. The glass barrel, the captain cooking, have all gone, but the memories remain within. Over the border, what more can I say? For all those who built the town, I pray. The pride you instill remains until my final will. Forever in our hearts, forever in our soul. Keep the history going is my goal.
Well done.
Beauty. Well done, pal.
That was excellent.
That's awesome.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course we do.
When it's turned off, you can say it.
It's brilliant. And I think there's something that tells, but yeah, that speaks to people who live here, and it speaks to people who don't as well.
So I wrote that about 3 years ago, and I tweaked it the other day, but yeah.
Fantastic.
I'm going to start doing a bit more.
What do you think, Charlie, of his poem? It's good.
I was half asleep.
He like it. Who's listening?
I think we're going to have to record that properly and put it as a little audio pod on its own.
I think so.
I think that was great.
It's good, man. Really good.
Maybe put some visuals to it.
Do you think we should have a go at doing like a little short poem ourselves? The next one.
Don't stretch it.
How we last day. No, I think you should have a go.
I think
your turn.
You should do next week, and I'll have a thing the week after.
Okay, no worries. What do you call those short ones? You know, the ones that like 3 lines. Is it Japanese? Like short poems? Have got a name for them?
I don't know.
I'll have a stab at one of those. That's class. It's really good, man.
Thank you.
It was deep.
Definitely.
So.
This is going out pod's going out September 20th, I think, is that right? Yeah, and so the next one will be 6th of October after that.
And we'll be on location?
Yeah.
Would you like to tell our viewers, our listeners, about where we are going?
So we mentioned it earlier, we're off to Hull.
Yep.
To interview Dean Windass, ex-footballer, about his mental health struggles. Chris McGlade put us in touch with him. So certainly living up to his ambassador role is Chris. But no, I'm looking forward to it. I've got being a footballing man myself. I'm really looking forward to just meeting him, and secondly, just having a pint with him and getting to the root of it, and hopefully getting the BoroManCan message out there.
Can it not be an hour of ball handling skills though?
He doesn't need any practice.
The vibrating left hand.
Where is your hand at the moment? It's just hidden by the.
Yeah. Just leave it there. Leave it there.
Yeah, no, leave it there. Jesus.
So no, I'm looking forward to that. That's coming up. So it's good. We're moving along nicely, and we're
taking a bit of time off work. We're committed, aren't we?
We're busy.
We are indeed.
Strap ourselves in. I think sometimes it's good. No, it's really good.
And again, I mean, if any listeners have got any other comments, any other things want us to cover, it's their pod as well. Hopefully they've enjoyed the interview today. Take them on a bit of a journey there. But again, I keep saying it, if you're a bloke who's just a little bit lost of purpose, get yourself on the website. There's about something like nearly 30 projects listed on there that you can get involved in. They're all starting to open back up as the world starts to return to some sense of normality. As long as you're in a group of 6, apparently.
Tell you what we'll do then. We'll just start something. If anyone wants to email in an email address, which is fools@boromancan.co.uk, we'll pick the best 5 questions for Dean Windass from people listening.
That's a good one. Yeah,
to make it their pod as well. So obviously don't just say, why did you leave the Borough? You were shit, you didn't score many goals or whatever. Don't. But
I'm sure you like a bit of abuse as well.
Yeah, but if you want to email him with any questions you've got for him based around mental health or his journey through sport,
for sure,
whatever, just email in and we'll ask.
Perfect.
It is the email address is fools@boromancan.co.uk. Would love to hear from you guys as well. It's nice to have your contribution, your participation. So that's makes it worth us getting out of bed on a Sunday morning or evening.
Easy.
I crawled out of bed this morning.
You can tell. You don't have to explain it. You look great.
We got through it, and it's almost time to say goodbye.
Goodbye from me.
See you later. Take care of yourselves.
Au revoir. And we'll be back again in 2 weeks' time.
Lovely.
Take care.
Cheers.
Bye bye.